Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the energies for February 2021 for life path number 9. Before I get into the reading, I just want to mention that this is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so 9s, February is a 7 universal energetic month. And so collectively, we could be seeing energy around specialization this month, the need for solitude, the need for self-analysis when it comes to our goals, projects, and relationships. I do feel like relationships will be coming into the forefront quite a bit this month. This is a great cycle to take a closer look at, what we're working towards, what our goals are, what the current projects are that we're working on, our current relationships, to see, are they in alignment with where we want to be moving towards, what we want to be doing, and how we want to be investing our energy. So pay attention to what comes up for you around those areas, because I do feel like they will be highlighted if there's some work that needs to be done or some adjustments that need to be made. Health, when it comes to holistic health, will be coming in strongly this month. So body, mind, spirit, an opportunity to look at where you may be out of balance in one of those areas. Reflection and rest. I feel like this is going to be a cycle for integration this month. So, taking the wisdom that you pulled from the last few months or the last year and really integrating that into your being. That's going to be, we're going to have opportunities this month to do that. And really the best way to do that, or the only way to do that, is through the stillness, through that time of rest. That's when we allow our bodies to rejuvenate and the wisdom to integrate. And so again, I feel like when the time comes up for you and your body is asking you to slow down, then this is going to be the time to listen to that. Absolutely. Dreams are going to be really important this month. So daydreams and night dreams. So pay close attention to the dreams that you remember. There could very well be some profound messages in them. So pay attention to those, write them down. This is a great time to keep a dream journal if you haven't in the past, or this is a great time to continue using your dream journal. I feel like dreams are going to be very relevant this month. So with a 7 cycle, this is a great time to let this energy work for you. Rather than trying to overly control or force things to happen, this is a time where we allow the universe to send us those things that were meant for us, that could be rewards for our past efforts. This is more about being in open receiving mode as opposed to being in constant action mode and constantly striving or constantly trying to control the outcome. So just be open to that as much as possible. That could come in especially around business or career, so be mindful of that. This is a time where you don't want to force things to happen, but again, allow them to organically happen. You're probably going to see some very synchronistic events occur, people, places, things just showing up out of nowhere. Just be open to that, because that's the universe supporting you and helping you on your journey. So this energy is really more focused on self-work, integration, and specialization, expanding your mind and your expertise. This can be a time to really focus your energy. If your energy has been feeling scattered in the past months, this is a time where it's, you want to rein that back in and really focus your energy on those things, those specific projects or specific goals that are most important to you, as opposed to scattering your energy all over the place and just hoping something sticks. So pay attention to that. So I pulled an animal spirit card to get kind of an overall message for the month for you 9s, and you guys got mouse spirit, and this is sweet. So, and this is pertinent. So see how it relates to your current situation. But mouse is saying you're overlooking some important details. So pay closer attention to what's going on. So that's not going to be for everyone, although we can all incorporate that into our lives. And so sometimes when we're so focused on the bigger picture, the bigger, bigger is better type thing, we're focused on those big goals, we can sometimes overlook or miss certain details that would make the journey towards that goal so much more comfortable. So again, paying attention to kind of, again, this comes back to like focusing that energy. So really laser focusing the energy on the things that you want to, see come to fruition or see grow is going to be really key this month for you, and paying attention to those details. So again, if we miss a detail on something in our journey, oftentimes we're asked to circle back around and repeat that experience. So kind of, again, bringing it back down to the present, bringing it back down to those finer details, and really focusing your energy will save you doing, additional work in the future and having to backtrack. So if there's something where you just feel, again, like you're missing something, then that is going to be your cue to bring it back to the present, really laser focus your energy and pay attention to those closer details. You may find that you need to really be very methodical in your steps this month without overly controlling, but again, just paying attention to those details. Okay, so I broke down the month into 4 weeks. In the first week, we have this energy around giving and receiving, but also like feeling like a chapter has sort of been completed and it's time to look to the future, to the next chapter. So I don't know necessarily how that's going to come in for you specifically, but it's almost like if you are somebody if you're a 9 who is just that like an overgiver, then this is going to be an opportunity to change directions and do things differently. And so where you can incorporate more receiving into your life. That's not going to be necessarily easy, especially if you're someone who's constantly, a giver. And so it's going to take some effort on your part, but then there's also that energy of that quiet receptivity. And so, again, it just feels like a shift in directions, like you feel like you've completed or you're done with something and you just need to start fresh. You need to start new. You need to incorporate something new in your life. This can be around relationships as well. This could also be around financial or material goods. So a job, it may be that like you were doing something one way, or how you were earning money at one point just doesn't work for you anymore. And so this is an opportunity to sort of look to the future at new ways of doing things, or new ways to earn money. And yeah, just sort of be open to the opportunities that come in for you, the experiences. Again, and be open to receiving, because it may be like somebody has an offer for you, but it would mean that you have to be in that open, receiving mode in order to say yes to it. But by doing that, you're like shifting your direction and starting a new chapter. And so again, it's kind of like, I don't know, I just kind of see like this offer coming in for you, but in order to take advantage of it, you have to be willing to receive it, if that makes sense. So the receiving part could be a little bit uncomfortable for you at first, and being open to it. So it's almost like, for some of you, this feels very specific, so it might not be for everybody, but for some of you, it might be like somebody comes in and they're like, I need help doing, whatever this is, or I have an opening for you, and I want you to take this job or whatever. But you don't feel necessarily qualified for it. So you may not say yes to it or whatever, but the message is, if this person is approaching you about whatever this is, then they feel confident in your abilities. And so where you're talking yourself out of it is an opportunity for a redirect, an opportunity to see things a little bit differently and understand that, well, if this person thinks that I'm capable, then surely they're seeing something that I'm not. So let me explore this further before you say no to it. So that's kind of really what I'm feeling, is like something coming in for you that you may not feel worthy for or whatever. And it's really like this change in mindset. And by doing that, you're closing the chapter on something that wasn't working and opening a new chapter for something that has great potential to work. But it's really going to come back to that uncomfortableness of receiving, or being open to something that you might not have thought you were worthy of. I don't know. So however that comes in, but that's really what's coming in pretty strongly. But there's really beautiful potential for whatever this is. Then we move into the second week of February, and it's interesting because I feel like this major abrupt change coming in for you that could cause some kind of like emotional imbalance. like you could, it could immediately sort of trigger something within you that's some kind of emotional response. But the message is to try to be in control of your emotions as much as possible and to see this change for what it is. And not let your emotions derail you from this change or this experience, because whatever this change is, and again, this again feels very specific, so this might not be for everybody, but whatever this change is sort of moving you out of that sort of complacent energy that you may have been in. And it's kind of like divine intervention. So it's like divine intervention is swooping in, it's moving you to where you need to be. And instead of having like an emotional response to it and falling victim to whatever this is, and having that pity party or that, again, that lower vibe energy, the call is to really rise above that and to see this change, this abrupt change, whatever it is, even though it can be uncomfortable, to rise above that and see it for what it is. Try to see it for where it's taking you, because chances are, whatever this is, you're going to look back on and you're going to be like, thank goodness that happened when it did, because it's changed my entire course in a beautiful way. So it may not feel that way while you're in it. And so that's why I say, it takes effort to rise above it and to see it for what it is. So again, it's kind of like Mouse is saying, pay attention to the details, because again, it's going to show you sort of where you're headed. So this definitely feels like an abrupt kind of change of direction. It kind of feels like divine intervention. You can either let the emotions of it, again, sort of derail you or keep you sort of submerged in not being able to see this for what this is. But you also have the choice to, again, surrender, to be, have that quiet receptivity, to allow things to unfold and see this change for what it is, which is basically, again, divine intervention, taking you sort of in a fast forward motion to where you need to be. Because of that, I'm just getting this feeling of like complacency or fear of moving forward. And so you're, again, complacent, and the universe creating some kind of experience that's sort of forcing you or fast forwarding you to where you need to be. So it's like a shift in the timeline that you maybe wouldn't have gotten to as quickly as if you didn't have the help from the universe, if that makes sense. So it can feel a little uncomfortable. I feel like it can kind of take you by surprise, but try to ride that wave as much as you can, because where it's taking you feels very feels good, feels aligned. So feels like good energy. Then we move into the third week of February, and this is interesting because for 9 energy, when you're out of alignment, and remember, we move in and out of alignment throughout our entire lifetimes. It's like our soul came here to master this energy, and it can take a lifetime or lifetimes to master. So don't beat yourself up if you fall in and out of alignment, because we all do. We just gain the tools as we move along to be able to move back into alignment much more quickly and comfortably. So I bring that up to say, one of the sort of shadow aspects of 9 energy is that sort of impulse to judge or hold a grudge or, just really to, judgment is what's coming in really pretty strongly. So it's kind of like, that's a shadow side, because when you're in your highest expression, you really find you're in a place of non-judgment. You're in a place of easily forgiving others and moving on and not falling into the victim mentality. And you're really in a place of empowerment and empowering others and helping to lift others and that sort of thing. And so I'm getting this sense this third week of February that you may have an opportunity to sort of flex that muscle. And so it's kind of like whatever comes up for you at this time, you're being asked to be that, to lead by example and to find it within your heart, to find acceptance and forgiveness for whatever this is, because it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to agree with it or, change your belief systems or adhere to whatever it is that you're forgiving. It just means that you are releasing that person and that action and that energy from your energetic field. So you're no longer carrying that with you through a grudge or through anger or through judgment. So you're basically being asked to step into the higher expression of your life path number, which is that of the humanitarian, which is of, being non-judgmental, of, not being one of such strong convictions and closed-mindedness, but being really open and accepting of others, flaws and all. That doesn't, like I said, that doesn't mean that, if you forgive somebody that you have to necessarily let them back into your experience or into your energy. It just means that you're releasing that energy, that negativity from your sphere, from your experience. And I feel like you're going to have some opportunities to sort of test the waters of that at this time. And so again, it's just kind of rising above those lower vibe energies of judgment, and just leading by example. And so it doesn't mean that people have to necessarily completely agree with you or do as you do. It just means that you are going to, your actions are going to reflect your integrity and your authenticity. And those that, vibe with that will enter into your experience. Those that don't will fall away. But it's just more about like how you're showing up and not showing up in a constant space of judgment and holding a grudge and those lower vibe energies. So I feel like you're going to have some kind of experience come in around this time that's going to ask you to sort of transcend that negativity. And if you don't, that's okay. You'll have other experiences or other tests and challenges to do it. But that's really a big part of the 9 energy, is overcoming that need to hold a grudge or judgment. And so I feel like you're going to have some opportunities at this time to practice. Then we move into the 4th week of February. And this is interesting because it's kind of like you have that experience the 3rd week of February where you're being asked to step into your highest expression of your life path number. And then we move into the 4th week and you're really being asked to step up into something that may require a tremendous amount of strength for you. And really what this feels like is, just as an example, this is a very specific example, so obviously it's not going to be for everyone, but it'll give you an idea. It's kind of like if you were, you had innate gifts to be a spiritual teacher in some way, but those gifts or that ability kind of went against the grain, and you received judgments from others, you received, criticisms from others, but you still felt called to step into that calling, right? You still felt called to share those gifts. So that takes an incredible amount of strength, inner strength. So that's kind of what I'm feeling, is like you're being asked to step into something that feels much bigger than you. And you may receive some external flack about it, but that's where that inner strength comes in. And so if there's something, to go ahead and do it. So if there's something that comes up for you around this time that gives you a glimpse into your greater purpose, that can be really uncomfortable. That can be intimidating. That can make you really nervous, because again, oftentimes what our soul asks us to do is against the grain, is creating something much different, but that's better for the community, that's better for the world, that's better for ourselves. And so again, I feel like this is going to be a time for some 9s to really step into their life's purpose, to really get a glimpse of what that is. And even if it's uncomfortable, you're going to have an opportunity to, go against the grain and pull from that inner strength and really explore this, and to specialize in it, because remember, we still have that 7 energy floating around collectively. So this could be a time where it's like you get a glimpse at where you're meant to specialize. And even if it's against the grain or makes you feel uncomfortable, you need to explore it. You need to really look into this, because this is something where, it's going to create something profound within your life if you can pull from that inner strength and, move against the odds and move against the grain and do what calls to your spirit. So I do get this feeling like there's going to be an opportunity for you to be a leader in some way at this time. Again, lead by example. That's going to take some inner strength from you. So this could be an extension of that energy from the 3rd week, but I do feel like this is bigger than that. I feel like this is really you stepping into your power and your gifts in some major way. So be aware of how that comes in. This can, dreams are coming in really, really strongly. So you may get some insight through your dreams, through your daydreams. What are you constantly daydreaming about? When you kind of like zone out, where is your mind going? Because a lot of times that's showing you, where the direction your soul wants to go into. Not always, but a lot of times if it keeps coming in, there's something there for you to explore. So I do feel like some of you are going to get a glimpse into, again, that long-term purpose that you're meant to step into. And I do get the feeling like it's not necessarily going to be comfortable, but you're meant to pull from that inner strength and show up anyway. Okay, so a lot about receiving this month, a lot about standing in your own power and leading by example without overly controlling the situation, and paying attention to those details. So interesting, beautiful energy for you all nines. I like this. It's really about you stepping into that higher expression of your 9 energy this month, or at least getting glimpses about what that's going to look like. Okay. For you specifically. So I love this. I think it's great. I hope you guys have a wonderful February. I will see you all again soon. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now.